Good afternoon, I'm Alex Fenn and welcome to the Big Debate podcast. Every week we'll be talking topical, discussing the big debates that are the talk of the town. Today I'm joined in the studio by Michael Glover and Paul Gorst, and we'll be talking about a certain Theo Walcott. So boys, pace, trickery and an eye for goal. Paul Gorst, surely he should go.
Well, no, he shouldn't actually, because I think pace, and then what else has he got? You talk about top players making decisions when they've got options, and he very rarely chooses the right one. If we're talking about pace, then Aaron Lennon, he's had a great season for Tottenham. Tottenham are flying high, I think they're fourth, maybe fifth now, I'm not quite sure at the moment, but he's injured at the moment. But I think if it was a straight choice and you're looking for pace, Aaron Lennon's got to go ahead of Theo Walcott.
Surely Paul put 3 goals against Croatia. Does that surely come into Fabio Capello's thinking?
When was that? September 2008, was it? I can't really remember the exact date, but for me, he's all about pace, and he hasn't really developed as he should have when he burst onto the scene from Southampton to Arsenal, and he was sensationally picked by Eriksen. I don't think he's improved as much as he should have in them 4 years. I just think there's a lot of wingers out there who are better than him, like Ashley Cole, Ashley Young even. Speaking of Ashley Cole, when Walcott did play against him, he got found out, he didn't get a look in, and it's true that he gets found out against the top fullbacks.
Well, we're also joined in the studio by Michael. Michael, you've championed Theo Walcott for some time now. What are your thoughts, and do you think he should be on board that plane to South Africa?
Well, yeah, I do, because if you ask a defender at any level, really, what he's scared of, and he'd say pace. And Theo Walcott has got that in abundance. He's, as well as an incredible dribbling skill, and he's shown at times a finishing skill as well. I mean, you go back to the Croatia game again, and he scored a hat-trick for England. Not many players have done that.
Paul mentioned over the last 4 years, do you think he's improved at all? Do you think he's improved since his big money move from Southampton?
Whether he's improved or not, he has improved, yeah, because players improve all the time, especially when he's so young. He's got to be better than when he was at 16 years old, because any player at any level would be better as he got older through his teens and into his early 20s.
I think one of the biggest problems for him is he's not being played down the centre as a striker like he was at Southampton. And you've seen some of the goals he scored for them during his time there. They were phenomenal, but Arsene Wenger's found him out on the right, and it's not really worked for him. I think there's a lot of players who are better than him up top for England, and there's certainly at least 1 or 2 who are better than him on the right side for England.
Do you think he's been failed by Arsene Wenger?
Not so much failed. I mean, he's a young lad. I mean, he's still only 20, isn't he? But I think at this moment in time, I don't think he's good enough to be on the plane for the World Cup in a year when, we've got Fabio Capello managing us, and everyone's brimming with confidence. So personally, I wouldn't pick him. I think if he hasn't got space thrown into, he's largely ineffective, and I think no end product in his decision making still need to be improved upon.
But who else is there? I mean, you look at the replacements on the right hand side. You've got Aaron Lennon. Yes, he would be better, but Walcott's coming out of injury now, and Lennon today it's been announced that he's injured again for longer. Walcott, if he has a fantastic end to the season, why shouldn't he go? And then, but you've also got, Sean Wright-Phillips on the right hand side. What's he done this season? He's arguably been as effective as Walcott's been while he's been sat on the treatment table.
Well, I think you're right with Wright-Phillips. I mean, I'd say even he's behind Lennon, but there's certain types of wingers you got, like your David Bentley, your David Beckham, technically excellent, can put balls in the box from any position on the pitch to pinpoint, and then you've got the pacey wingers, the likes of Wright-Phillips, Lennon, Walcott, and I think you need one of each. I think Beckham and Lennon would be my choice, to be honest.
What about David Bentley? He's coming to some form under Harry Redknapp at Tottenham over the last few weeks. Do you think he's a candidate for selection?
Well, he has, yeah. I mean, he barely got a look in, didn't he, at Tottenham when Lennon was fit, but Lennon's injured and he seized upon the chance. I mean, he had a great game against Leeds, albeit Leeds aren't on top side anymore, but he started to rekindle the form which Jordan touted for England once, and it's good to see, because he's an excellent footballer. His technique is second to none, and his deliveries are superb. But can he sustain that? when Lennon comes back, it's all up in the air at the moment.
Certainly a good point, Paul. When we look at Theo Walcott, obviously he's the only player who's played Champions League football out of the other candidates. What are your thoughts on that, Michael?
Obviously, it's a vast experience playing Champions League football. It's playing against the best players in club football, and when you look at the goal that he scored against Liverpool in the Champions League quarter-final, I think it was, where he set up Fabio, that's it. Where he ran the whole length of the field. He can do that. He's got the ability to do that, and he came on the last 20 minutes of that game, and he did that. And if he can do that against Brazil, Argentina, like our rivals in the World Cup, then he's certainly someone who should be on that plane.
Another big question many England fans are asking: does he fit into Fabio Capello's system? He's obviously famous for playing his 4-4-2. Theo Walcott obviously isn't an out-and-out right winger. We don't know if he's a striker. Does he fit into the system as a replace for him?
Well, I think that's to his advantage, that he's versatile, and the fact that he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play up front. I think he'd prefer to play up front, but whether Capello will see that as an advantage himself, I'm not sure.
That's where I'd have to disagree with you there. When you're saying he can play on the left, he can play on the right, he can play up front. Personally, I think he can only play up front. I think he gets farmed out on the right and the left because of his pace, because the chance to get him 1v1 versus the fullback. But I think it's been the detriment of a lot of players over the years who were quick, so they've been stuck out on the wing instead of being played up front. I mean, I've seen managers such as Gerard Houllier used to do it at Liverpool when he put youth right wing instead of playing up front. As I say, I think that is a problem rife throughout English football, and I think Walcott's suffering from it at the moment, because I think he is being played out of position.
So here's a situation. Theo Walcott is named in the England squad. He starts the first game for England under Fabio Capello. Where does he fit in? Who does he play with up front? Who do you think he would work best with?
Up front, I mean, I could see him playing with Rooney, or as a sort of striker to play.
Do we sacrifice? Obviously, Walcott's got a lot of pace, and he'd be aiming to run across the back line. Do you think he'd work with Rooney, who's been playing predominantly out-and-out centre forward at Manchester United this season?
I think he could, but I mean, I'm not saying that he should go as a main player to start every game, and that he'll be the World Cup's top scorer or anything like that. But he's certainly an excellent impact player to have on the bench, to bring on for the last 20 minutes when opponents are tiring and the legs are going, and Walcott comes on with this incredible pace. He could be extremely dangerous.
I mean, we talk about impacts off the bench. That's presumably going to be David Beckham's role when he obviously a particular favourite of Fabio Capello's. We'd expect him to be in the England squad. Does this sort of compromise David Beckham's position in the squad?
I don't think Walcott can compromise David Beckham's position. If not for footballing reasons, then for dressing room reasons. Obviously, Beckham being an ex-captain is excellent in the dressing room, and etc. etc.
I'm sure Beckham's sort of that calm head you need, isn't it, when you get to a quarter-final stage, half-time, or be it extra time or whatever. But going back to the Walcott issue, I think, like I mentioned it earlier, I think his biggest flaw is his decision-making. His pace will get him into them positions every time, and it's the speed of thought which is letting him down, which is what I think is his biggest problem at the moment. But he's still young, he's only 20. He can obviously improve. Hopefully he will do, but at this moment, I'd certainly have other players who I'd choose above him.
You've mentioned Lennon, Wright Phillips, Beckham, Bentley, Walcott. Who would you pick? Who would be your picks for the right-hand side?
It all depends on Aaron Lennon, I think. He's been injured for now 3-4 weeks. I'm not sure the exact amount of time, but he's been out for a long time. But he's had a great season. He's terrorised fullbacks, and he's been a large part of Tottenham's rejuvenation this season. So I'd have him, and Beckham. You can just see what Beckham can do. He doesn't necessarily have to make an impact from open play. He can be that free kick, that one corner delivery that can change a game, and only England can benefit from that.
Well, only time will tell whether Theo Walcott will be on board the plane to South Africa. Thanks to our guests in the studio, Paul and Michael. Please join us again next week for another big debate. Bye for now.